You know, it was all battered and scarred, and the auctioneer felt it was hardly worth his while, to waste much time on that old violin, but he held it up with a smile. Well, it sure ain't much to look at, but it's all we've got left, and I guess we ought to try to sell it. Oh, who'll start to bid on this old violin? Just one more, and then we'll all be through. Well, then the auctioneer cried out, "One, give me $1. Who'll make it two? Only $2, and who'll make it three?" Well, $3 twice. Now that's a good price, and I wonder who's going to bid for me. So raise up your hand now and don't wait any longer. You see this auction's about to end, and who's got just one more dollar to bid on this old violin? Well, the air was hot and the people stood around as the sun was setting low. And from the back of that crowd, a gray-haired old man came forward and, he picked up the bow. He wiped the dust from this old violin, and then he tightened up the strings, and then he played out a melody so pure and sweet, sweeter than the angels sing. Well, and then the music stopped, and the auctioneer, with a voice that was quiet and low, he said, "Now what am I bid for this old violin?" And he held it up with the bow. And then he cried out, One who'll give me 1,000. Who'll make it two? Only two will make it three. 3,000, that's a good price. Come on, who's going to bid for me?" And, well, the people cried out, "Well, what made the change? We don't understand." Well, then the auctioneer stopped and he said with a smile, "It was a touch of the master's hand." Dear friend, God's wisdom is a precious gift. You see, it sheds light in so many different ways. A hope in the darkness and bringing peace and joy every day. So my dear friends, may God bless and keep you with His love at your side. And for all you say and do, may faith be your guide. You see, God's love has no boundaries. It simply has no end. And there will never be a time when you find yourself without a friend. You see, God He's always with you. He's there in times of hope and despair. And dear friend, may you know that you are loved as you live your life in prayer. Yes, God's wisdom is such a precious gift. Yes, the touch of the Master's hand. At times when I'm doing these recordings, I can feel Him here with me. Yes, the touch of the Master's hand. Three times many a man with his life out of tune, battered and scarred with sin, and he's auctioned off cheap to the thankless world, much like this old violin. Oh, but then the Master comes, and that foolish crowd, they never will understand the worth of a soul and the change of its wrought. It was just by one touch of the Master's hand. Yes, and then he cried out, "One, give me 1,000. Who'll make it two? Only 2,000. Who'll make it three?" Well, 3,000 twice. That's a good price. Come on, who's going to bid for me? Oh, the people cried out, "We don't understand what made this change." Well, then the auctioneer stopped and he said with a smile, "Well, it was a touch. That's all it was. It was the touch of the Master's hand." Yes, it was the touch of the Master's hand. Yes, he cried out with a smile. You see, this violin is so battered and scarred, and, well, I guess in the beginning I thought it was hardly worth its while, but, oh, to waste much time in this old violin. But then after that old man came forward and brushed the dust off and tuned up the strings. Yes, the auctioneer said it was a touch. You see, that's all it was. It was a touch of the master's hand. Yes, many a man is changed by the touch of the master's hand.